Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Mary Ellen coming to you from Moonrise Cottage for your Capricorn June 2018 reading. As always, I'm really thrilled to be here. I'm starting with the image of the cards, and I have a very exciting, from my way of speaking or thinking. Spirit said it's interesting. Spirit just said speaking. I'm wanting to say thinking. Um, so that's an interesting message. Ponder that for a moment. Take a look at those cards for the month of June. Last month I was talking about that there was a pivot point coming, that Spirit was telling me there was going to be a significant change coming in the month of June as we turn into the midpoint of the year and begin to progress to what Spirit is saying is toward the next solstice. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm going to just do a little bit of review this month. I want to just show you really quickly. I'm going to toggle through the photograph of the cards from earlier in the year, and we'll just take a look and we'll jump into the reading. For those of you that don't know, I use the beautiful Celtic Wisdom Tarot deck developed by Caitlin Matthews. She's an amazing woman, and you can check her out online. I am an intuitive healer, a psychic person. I channel messages from Spirit, and if you're new and you don't know, that is how my YouTube channel evolved probably a year and a half ago now, which is kind of shocking to me. I was pushed for quite a while. I was just sort of a hermit, and people found their way to me, and finally I got through some life circumstance changes because I am an earth sign. I'm a Virgo. So already there's stream coming through about the earth sign cohort. And in fact, I'm changing it up. I don't know how long I'm going to do it, but Spirit has asked me to record the videos for each cohort. So all the earth sign videos are coming out first, and I'm actually going to just publish them. I think today is the 18th or 19th. So if you're looking for your moon sign, your rising sign, they're on the way, but Spirit wanted me to get this out. I'm going to toggle back to the cards and we'll jump in. My website, I always forget, is moonrisecottagesoultarot.com. And you have to put the W's and all that kind of stuff in there. There is a lot of information there about the types of readings I offer, distance healing, and medium services if you want to be in touch with somebody on the other side. You can find some information there about the live stream. And soon I am going to be opening Moonrise Cottage. That's part of my journey to allow people at long last to come here. And Spirit is saying to travel through this place. There will be more to come as the months goes on. It's going to be probably a couple of months, but I just wanted you to know that that's in the offing. I'm very excited about it. Your cards for the month of June. 2 outcome cards came, so it tells me there's a lot going on. And if you just look into the cards, there are 11 cards in the spread, one more than usual. 9 of them are major arcana cards. Something magical is happening, just as Spirit promised. Here are the cards for May. If you look at the top row, the Spirit cards, you see that the energy has been moving toward sacred adventure and standing in the full light of the sun, the warmth, the abundance that brings on the sacred ground of the ancients. That's where your journey has taken you. And you've been on a long journey, Capricorn. And the last card on the top row, which is the Spirit realm, you stand at the gateway. And it's interesting to me that, and the reason I changed up how I'm doing the readings, the folks who have come in the last couple of weeks, all have been earth signs, each one of them on a very intense journey. And many of them, actually there have been a couple of folks who have been other signs, but most people have found themselves standing in front of the gateway, standing in line with the high priestess in order to take the next part of their journey. So that's May. And we see that you went through a process in order to become a touchstone of truth in your life and have the will to go forward and face some obstacles. move through them and regain a piece of your power. It's very interesting to me that this is what was happening. And back in, I think it was February, all the way back in February, we had a promise. There's the cards for February. Look at the spirit realm, the top row. Spirit just wants to talk to you about the top row this month for some reason. So the first card is the spinner of growth. And standing next to that, we see the balancer of harmony. And then the judgment of battle. The beginning of this process where you just settle in and you take some time to begin to review everything that you've been through. And it's really a lot. So here we are again in June, having come through the journey that has brought a type of balance and a type of growth and a shift and change to your life, to this moment. The card that is the spirit card right over the top is, in fact, the last major arcana card in this deck. Look at that. You've seen this before, I think. Do you see the triple spiral of destiny at the crown chakra and the coloration of this card? And there's the triple spiral at the root chakra as well. Sitting above the sacred bowl, filled with water, life energy, having all the tools you need in order to perfect your energy and have an awakening. And that's what the Capricorn journey has been about, in part. Bringing all creatures here on Earth forward, because you have Pluto stationed in your first house. There's been an enormous battle and a lot of shift and change coming through in order to reach this moment. And the moment has arrived. And it will carry you forward through the next year. That's part of the message. If you look at the breastplate, we see the 4 seasons and indications of the sacred swastika. It is about the swirl and the power of the sacred feminine. And one of the things that's been coming through to me for a long time is something I call the return of the goddess, the rise of the sacred feminine, that in tandem with the appropriate yin-yang type of accompaniment, the return of the sacred masculine. Something very exciting is happening. It's going to affect all of us. So Capricorn, a beautiful start to the reading. The notion that Spirit wants to talk to you about, the beautiful perfecter of energy. And the energy that is carried in this notion is about bringing all your actions into alignment and enabling you to see and know the beginning and the end of the soul's journey in brief but exquisite points of awareness. So over the course of this year, you're going to have a lot of revelation. And we've been seeing a lot of prophecy coming forward in your readings from the last 6 months. So if you have some curiosity or you're new to the channel, go and check it out. The very next card is also a major arcana card. This is the balancer of energy. So we have, harmony. We have the perfecter of energy and the balancer of harmony. Standing next to each other, both major arcana cards, both very powerful. This is about your being. Standing in the winds of change, taking your place among the sacred energy in the universe, having been split open and resown, that is the Capricorn story. You come to a place of balance where you can manage the flow and the spiral and the twirl of the energy of the universe as it relates to your being and your journey. It's a beautiful place to be standing and doubly powerful because it is letting us know that your energy is balanced in order to take this journey at this pivot point and go forward from here, renewed and shift and change coming to you personally because of all the work you've done. And it's interesting because, we're used to using the calendar year. Spirit is talking about a new cycle beginning in this moment that's going to spin out for another year. There's a lot to come. The very next card on the human realm is the imaginer of harmony. So there is a theme developing coming forward for this next period of time. And if you look at the cards on the bottom row, that is the human experience. Every single one of them is a major arcana card. First of all, I just want to say each one complementary and very powerful. There is a new pattern of shift and change, and the place in which you stand here on the earth, very powerful. So, we've been talking about the moon a lot. This month in June, the full moon is in Capricorn. It's not till near the end of the month. But as the energy builds in that direction, when you come through the cycles of the moon, be very aware and understand that when you come to the full moon towards the end of the month, you will have played out the cycle that Spirit is trying to talk with us about. This is the sacred vessel. I think we've spoken about this a lot, Capricorn. And there you are, the sea goat, as some of my subscribers remind me. Capricorn also has facets of being a water sign in the ancient days. And last month we saw this idea of standing on the sacred ground of the ancients in the full light of the sun. Now you swim deep into the ancient waters of harmony to explore that part of your nature. This is very gratifying to me. So this vessel, for those of you that are new and don't know, is a magical vessel. You can't tell by the illustration, but in mythology it has golden oars. And if you get in the vessel and you put your hands on the oars, it can take you to any destination you wish to go based on the notions of the feminine archetype and the intuitive, mystical pull of the moon, the tides of life. And so we see all those notions pulled together in this card, the Imaginer of Harmony. Sitting right next to that, another major arcana card, the Keeper. This is the Keeper of Harmony. Beautiful male energy, talking with us about the strategy with which we do life. That is a sacred torque, a piece of ancient jewelry that the Celtic peoples used. And it signified royalty and wealth and position. There is new growth happening here. And sustenance. We see berries. It is about making harmony the central strategy with which you do your life and becoming the guardian of harmony. It's quite lovely, and I want to show you again in line with the cards that have come out. It's a very powerful message to have it sitting next to the Imaginer of Harmony. So what Spirit is saying is your skills are deepening and becoming refined in a way that is profound, reflective of themselves in a sense, and of the journey and the work that you've been doing. So as you imagine what harmony could be like and move into the realm of the Keeper of Harmony, we see this notion of working with the energies of all the people. And last month, let me show you the cards because there's a thread coming through here. There are the cards for May. If you look at the center row and the card on far left, that card was about coming into your power, reclaiming your power in a certain way in order to step in to the ability to bring forward your destiny. And sitting underneath that card is actually a prophecy about the way in which you come into your power and then utilize that to tap in to the sacred energy that brings forward those things that inspire you and cause you to go on a sacred adventure. And the sacred adventure takes you to the gateway. And here we see this month in June, having come through this gateway, we see your ability in both a male and a female archetypical way on the human realm. We see the moon card, and then we see the beautiful Keeper of Harmony. So In this movement, you come into a place of leadership, which is your destiny, Capricorn, and a place of peace and autonomy, benevolence, and the self awareness of the sacred male. The god that we see in this card is actually recognized across the Celtic world as the ruler of the people. And it is that type of rule that brings harmony, whose highest desire is to create peace and harmony. And sitting right next to that, we see the incredible dreamer of growth. So that is the direction in which your growth is taking shape. This indicates a type of sacred, cosmic genius where there is a meld of the sacred mind and the human mind. Rooted very deeply in the sacred realm, the dreamer of growth. Very mystical. This is about genius. This is about the ability to manifest. This is about psychic abilities, astral travel, sacred dreaming, all those types of things. And the first card in the row is the moon card. There's a beautiful transition taking place, and you're going to feel it in your human existence. That's one of the things I love about this reading is that all of this psychic travel, everything you've been working for really hard, why you've been working to survive all these years with Pluto in your first house, the pivot point is here because we see these sacred cards, all three of the cards on the human realm, major arcana cards, very powerful. The type of display that I usually expect to see on the top row that indicates your sacred soul journey. Let's take a look at the bridge card, another major arcana card, the renewer. And you know what I love about this is we see the notion of the sacred vessel and the triple deities. This vessel actually does exist. It was discovered in a bog. It is called the Gundestrup Cauldron. And the full name of the card is the Renewer of Devotion. Of course, that's the bridge. Because you have come into this place of balance and harmony and recapturing your ability to create and sustain, Spirit says. And it is that that brings you back around from your human journey and cycles you into that of the realm of the sacred. And the human journey is becoming one with the sacred journey. This is about healing and increasing your compassion for all beings. Because as the keeper of harmony on the human realm, let me show you again. Keeper of harmony is about a type of leadership that has its sacred desire, not about power, but about keeping harmony for all the people and dreaming about the sacred growth that we could have as a Spirit saying a class of beings. I was going to say group. Spirit says class of beings. And that energy cycling into the renewer of devotion. And the job of the renewer of devotion is to help us deepen our compassion for the entire universe. Capricorn, you're breaking open wide, and all that desire inside of you is coming home into your being. Look at the center row and the row beneath it. Every single card is a major arcana card. It is intensely beautiful, extremely powerful, in a very gentle, quiet, mystical way. And so this is the journey that you are going to be on coming through the month of June. The first card on the spirit realm is something that we've seen before, Capricorn, and I'm really gratified to see that here. Look at that. Remember that card? That notion of souls in a boat trying to reach their destination. They've been in a horrible battle. Everything was lost. Everything went wrong. And they're just trying to reach their destination. And that's been the Capricorn story, in part, Spirit says. So many of you have written to me, and the people who've come for readings, this is the story. It's always individualized, of course, but this is the story. And I see this as the first card on the spirit realm with the type of cards that are on the human realm, and I literally rejoice for you. The quest of your battle has been transformed. It's phenomenal, really, truly phenomenal. And, the soul wisdom, so to speak, in this experience, I'm going to toggle so you can see it with the other cards. The quest of battle, pardon me, is about the notion of everything having been lost. And you have come full circle. This is the pivot point that Spirit was talking about last month. And I've been talking about it for a while. In a sense, I'm not an astrologer. So, factually speaking, there are things that I don't know. And I don't seek to know them because I want the information that comes through me to be really pure and unaffected by what anybody else says. I just want pure messages from the spirit realm so that we can add that to the knowledge that is known, says Spirit. So, the quest of battle, it's about what happens after the worst is realized and how it is that when those places come to resolution, and then we can begin the rest of our lives. And so this battle that you've been on, this beautiful, sacred, against all odds battle with the forces at play in order to change what is happening here on earth, being the sacred individuals who have come here in this time to carry the weight of Pluto in order to bring leadership that has to do with harmony. Look at the bottom row. That's what it's been all about. And you've had to deal with it in a very personal way. I know. But there is a sacred intention, Capricorn. I'm always so grateful to you folks. And as a fellow earth sign, I go through, and as does Taurus, reflections of this. My life's been really challenging too. But the beauty of what has come forward as a result of those challenges in this moment, in this month of June, a lot happening here at Moonrise Cottage. The shift and change that's coming is in a way a reflection of the Capricorn journey. Because I've had to sort of sail through my own problems and keep the faith. And there were moments when I didn't want to, it was too hard. And now suddenly, and the reason it's suddenly is because Uranus has transitioned into Taurus. And so I believe, Capricorn, you have a sacred partner now. It's incredible. Another earth sign with another explosive planet stationed. I believe that things going forward from here, most of us know. If you don't know the effects of Uranus, go and look it up. It's about shocking, rapid change. And some of the other readings actually have the first card over the top as the spirit theme is the Tower. Just that explosion, a lightning strike of unanticipated change. That's what the earth signs are experiencing. And you, because you've already been through that, are sailing in to the pivot point and being informed, Spirit says, about the depth of the sacred journey. There's one other thing I want to say about this. Look at the left-hand column. On the bottom, we see a sacred vessel. The imaginer of harmony, using the power of the moon as a fulcrum in order to sail into the sacred Gundestrup cauldron. This beautiful vessel that allows us to renew our devotion and go forward. And above that, another vessel. Your suffering being delivered into the spiritual realm at long last in order to go through a transition and be liberated, because at this full moon, You are going through this portal. It's interesting to me. There we go. Look at that. The liberator of devotion going through the portal on the full moon. So this month, you may feel your sacred existence in a way that you have not been able to for a long time. There's the shaman carrying the head. The Celtic people believe that was the soul. This is a sacred Sheila Nagi. It is more feminine energy. There's a lot to say about this, Spirit says. Maybe, I think maybe we're going to do a live stream about the Capricorn energy and the earth experience and everything that revolves around that. The Sheila Nagi is an ancient Celtic symbol of sacred feminine energy and journeying, no doubt. And the fact that we all have to enter this place through the feminine energy as a portal to be able to come here for our spiritual adventure. This figure was found after Christianity began to move across Europe and the place where the Celts live, and Christian churches began to rise up, including in all of the really sacred places in Ireland that the Celtic people lived. Most of those churches have crumbled to the ground now. One of the things that arose, and there's no writing, nobody knows, it's a mystery, on the south-facing wall of these Christian churches was this figure. How obscene, according to a Christian religion, right? And so for a long time, it was thought to be something about, really sort of body female sexuality. You and I know that's not what it's about at all. And so there was, I think, an accompaniment, a reclaiming, and just sort of a quiet notice that you can put whatever you want on this site, but you are still standing in this energy. It's phenomenal to me. And I think at this point, I think there's 45 or 50 of them existing now in Ireland. Nobody knows. There's no writing. So, there's been some interpretation. Most of it, some years back, some decades back, by male scholars. And no offense to any of the men out there, but, thought processes evolve. I think we understand when we see what is this top row of cards, what the journey is. Your days of misery are sailing into the portal in order to be liberated and released. And the card sitting next to the liberator of your devotion is a revelation card. We've seen this in your readings before, Capricorn, over the last year and a half. This is a phenomenal shift and change. The revelation of knowledge is about a warrior. Most of you who've been following along, you actually know this story. There's the card. What is revealed to you when you sail through this portal? This warrior lived eons, much longer than any other warrior. He was the sole survivor of an epic battle, and he just lived. Spirit saying he lived into oblivion, kind of. He just kept living long past a normal human life. And I think what Spirit's talking about is what it has been like to live through the battles and to feel so alone and to have to be on your road all by yourself. I was just talking to somebody about this through a private reading a couple days ago. What it means to be in soul travel. On some level, we have to go alone. Sometimes we're lucky and we have accompaniment, but at the root of it, at the heart of it, we travel alone with our internal journey in order to take up the purpose of our soul as it moves between the realms. So, clearly a story about new life and reincarnation. And there you are once again, standing in the full light of the sun, coming across the water, the sea goat, and here we see you standing there like a stag, okay? So the animal medicine of the stag is stamina for a long journey. As a Virgo, this fills me with an incredible amount of joy because my life is being renewed as well. I've been challenged to step deeper into who I am and discover what it means to step deeper in. And you are being released liberated, because you are at the pivot point. The outcome card, Spirit says the dual card, the dual message. The first one that came was another major arcana card, the empowerer of will. And look, there's the head again, right? That is the notion of the goddess of victory. There was a real person in the Celtic world. Actually, she was a druid. Her name was Boudica. And she was a warrior. And she did sacred battle against the Romans and defeated the Roman army. If you can imagine, she followed the energy. You see the rabbit? That was her power. She followed the energy. Spirit's talking right to you, Capricorn. Follow the energy. That is the place in which your strength resides. It is not something that many Capricorns are used to doing. There is still a divinatory process going on here, okay? In order to go forward, because this is the outcome card, follow the energy that you see unfolding in this reading. Here's the next card. I love it. It's about new beginnings. It's about coming into a place that is specially designed for you, having come through all these journeys. Do you see the road that is opening up to you, Capricorn? The sacred road. There you are with your power in your hand. Most of you know the story. It's about a young man who was born into a sacred lineage. He was out in the world adventuring, having his young man's adventures, Spirit says. His father was one of the primary wisdom holders of the clan. His dad passed away, and he got called home to take up the sacred wisdom chair. And he put this sort of silly fake beard on. He tried to make himself look older because he didn't feel ready at all. He was really frightened. Despite all of that, the sacred spiral of destiny was turning. And it mattered not that he was not prepared and that he hadn't done his study, etc., etc. Someone from the clan, another wisdom holder, an elder, came to see him, pay respect for the passing of his dad, and just have a conversation with him about all the wisdom that existed. And in this moment, the young man said, you know what? I have to tell you, I'm not ready. I'm going to pull off this disguise that I'm wearing and just step down off the chair. I don't think I deserve to be there. Would you please take up the place of the wisdom holder until I'm ready? Because I have a lot to learn. And those of you who know the story know that basically the wisdom holder, the elder man, said, okay. And he went and sat in the chair. And the first thing he did was reinstall this young man into the chair. So we see two notations about a new life and a transition and coming into your strength, being in your place of strength. And sometimes your place of strength is being in a new place in order to go forward on the next journey. So Capricorn, there's the pivot. Okay, Spirit's saying the result of the pivot. We see the pivot in the cards. Don't worry. You have been renewed in so many ways. And there's a new journey coming to you. And you have been fighting for survival for so long. And we've seen this prophecy coming forward the last couple months about the shift and change in that. Pluto is going to be stationed in your first house for several more years. I'm trying, what's 2018? Probably 5 more years. But things begin to change. You're still going to have challenges. That's the point. And when it's done, you are going to be completely transformed. But you have stepped into the place where you begin the next phase of your journey with accompaniment and with the wisdom holders that you need in order to help you learn what you're supposed to learn on this road that opens before you in this new place. I'm going to go back to the cards. Thank you so much, Capricorn, for being here as always. Take a look at these cards after I stop chatting. I try to remember, take a look at the individual columns, the vertical and horizontal display of the cards, and most specifically from the bottom left upward and the bottom right upward through the center point, which is your energy. And take a look at the alignment and the relationship of those cards in order to understand this message to its fullest ability. The center column, every single card is a major arcana card, every single one. And the center row, every single card is a major arcana card. The core of the reading in both directions. Capricorn, congratulations. I'm really excited for you and for all the earth sign people. I'm looking forward to all that's going to transpire here on the earth. I know now with Uranus, we've already seen it. Volcanoes are erupting. The political ramifications, at least here in the United States, getting really hot, aren't they? We'll see how it works out, right? And we just, I think part of the message here is use your energy to send out love to every soul that is here journeying, especially people in places of power. Sometimes they need love energy to be applied in order to bring the shift and change, to be able to imagine and become the keeper of harmony and the dreamer of growth. So I honor you, Capricorn, for your earthly journey and all the dedication that you display for us. Have a wonderful month. Enjoy the full moon, and I look forward to speaking with you in July.